and welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle, and this is the Belle Perspective. And today we're going to be reviewing another book. I've got another book. This book is called A Spell of Good Things by Ayobami Adebayo. Okay, y'all, I got it right. Praise God. Ayobami Adebayo, a Nigerian author. I will get into my thoughts. Let's get into some housekeeping items first, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on this book. All right, let's get into that. This is a growing channel, and what that means is that I need your help. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. We review books, TV, reality shows, all kinds of things, movies. Sometimes I talk a little bit about the foolishness on the internet. I also have a segment that features Black businesses and Black products, Black owned products, so the bold and Black owned perspective. We do all those kinds of things over here, okay? A book club called Black Lituations. Black Lituations, the book club, okay, meets every month. We're a virtual book club and it's completely free. You don't have to pay me anything. You don't have to pay anything. All you got to do is join, buy the book, join the conversation, okay? This month, happy September 1st. So for September 28th, we're going to be meeting to discuss the other black girl. The other black girl. I love this color. It's so pretty. Anyway, I've actually read this book before, but I'm going to read it again. We're going to read it again because Hulu has a series that's coming out in November. So we want to prepare ourselves for the series in November before it comes out so we can compare notes, okay? So join Black Lituation September the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Black Lituation is my free virtual book club. You don't have to buy nothing except for the book. No, I can't help you with the book now. Go in and get your book, okay? Join us 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You literally can join from anywhere in the world. It's completely virtual. Okay. So we'll see you for the other Black girl September 28th. And I'll also not even probably, I know I'm going to review both the book and then also the series on Hulu when it comes out in November. Let's get into this book review. I have a little bit of a head cold. Went to the airport in Atlanta. I think it's like the busiest airport in the whole country. It I know one of y'all nasties gave me something. Anyway, Spell of Good Things by Ayobami Adebayo. She's a Nigerian author. This book was published in February of 2023, so earlier this year. And I've been watching some of her interviews. Her personality is very even keel. Okay, she gonna talk like this the whole time. But when I tell you parts of her writing in this story are so dynamic and in your face that I'm like, where did that come from? Where'd that come from? So her personality may not exude vibrance and, all of that. She definitely exudes through her writing a dynamic that is powerful and palpable. Okay. She got some inspiration for this book as she was in traffic. She lives in Nigeria. This book is The setting takes place in present day Nigeria. She lives in Nigeria. She's going through a city. She didn't say what city it was, but she had to take a detour because of traffic. She found this dilapidated town. She said, I've lived in the city my whole life, and I've never seen this town. Old buildings and busted roads, and she was just completely dilapidated. And riding through the town that she found that she had never seen before, made her think of all the invisible people that existed in that town and how their lives are intricately connected to other people, and how our lives are interconnected with people who we may never even see, know, or recognize, but their lives affect our lives. And that is a running theme within this book. Everyone within this story is interconnected in one way or another, and they may not necessarily even understand or know in that way or in that fact of what that fact is. She's written one other novel in 2017. This book was called Stay With Me. She has also won an award. It was the Nine Mobile Award. She's also won one other award, and I'll list that down here at the bottom of the screen because I forgot to write that. This book is centered around two families and two characters. It tackles poverty, domestic violence, education access, and neglect. Neglect. I don't think that I think I don't think that she purposely highlights how neglect is happening, but I think that that's been a running theme. It's a running theme that I picked up from both characters in the story. Enola he's tall for his age. He's about 15 or 16 years old. He's a kid. He comes from a poor family. Enola's father lost his job. He takes on several different odd jobs to make ends meet, and he has very, very big dreams for his future. Wuraola is the golden girl. She's the golden child. She is the daughter of a very wealthy family. She has a wonderful, promising career. She is a physician, a junior physician, and she's just starting her career as a doctor. She is engaged to Kunle. He is the son of a politician. So she has that silver spoon. They live on a compound. Her family's got money. She on money, racks on racks on racks on racks for her. This book shines a harsh light on the divide between the have and the have nots. My overall thoughts of this book is a slow creep. It's a slow creep for the first few chapters. You're going to read probably up to chapter 8, maybe 9, and be like, girl, come on. Girl, come on. Come on. But when it gets spicy, when it starts to get intense, it gets intense. Intense. There there's a number of Nigerian cultural references. So it takes a little bit longer to get through the book because I'm not sure what the language. I think Yoruba is a language that's, but I know English, obviously in Nigeria, English, Yoruba, and one other language. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm gonna put it down at the bottom. But she writes in I don't want to call it Spanglish, but it's kind of like Spanglish, right? You know, somebody who speaks Spanglish, you don't understand that Spanish part, but you know the two bookend English parts, and you are able to understand the context because of the two bookend English parts. That's how she writes throughout the book as well. So there's a lot of Nigerian culture references. So you're Googling a lot of that, especially if you're American and you know nothing about it. That was me. Okay. The other part is because she's also roping Yoruba and Ansu, I think is how you pronounce it. You're having to go and Google how to pronounce this. What is it? What does she mean? So there's food references, clothing references, like just all kinds of things that, again, somebody who's American doesn't speak Yoruba, you wouldn't know. I enjoyed Googling about the traditions. There's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of familial tradition, expectation. That's good or bad. It could be a weight, but it can also give you a sense of identity and a sense of belonging. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy between the two of them. You see the familial dynamics and the familial pressure, again, between both wealthy and impoverished. And it's quite it's a good story. It's a good story. A slow creep, so you got to be committed to it, but definitely a good story. So this story is breathtaking, is what I wrote. The story is breathtaking and will have you clutching your chest in certain sections. Again, there's a little bit of an ebb and flow. So some parts are like down here in the valley, and then there's peaks. And when you get to the peaks, you're like, oh God, holding your chest, right? But then it'll go back down in the valley, and you're like, okay, girl, come on, let's let's get there. What I admire most about the book is that this is an age-old story. When have we not heard of stories about the have and the have-nots? That's not a story that's completely brand new. Not. However, her approach to the characters, their story arcs, their development is completely different. I also appreciate that while she is highlighting the have and the have-nots. It's a realistic storyline, and it wasn't wrapped up in a pretty bow and they all lived happily ever after again, right? It was not that at the end of the story. It was a realistic, potentially true to life ending, and I appreciated that. There were some other themes that I noticed throughout the book. The appreciation for education, and that was, again, whether you were impoverished or whether you were wealthy, both families appreciated education. And while one family didn't have the equal access to education, Enola, his family, he still understood the importance, and that importance never wavered. Even if he was presented with challenges, and he was presented with several different challenges within this book because of the financial responsibility that his parents were not able to fulfill, he still understood the responsibility of education, the impact and the importance of education at a very young age. That I don't know if someone in America could do the same thing, experience what he experienced and still be resilient and want to still continue his education. I don't think that that's, I don't think, I don't know. I don't know. Another common theme is neglect. There, hit Nola's parents, Wuraola is, she's an adult, right? She's probably in her mid to late 20s. Actually, no, she's about to turn 30. So she's in her late 20s. And Enola is a little kid, right? He's about 15, 16, teenager. Both both of these people have parents that are present and absent in their lives. Present and absent. For one reason or another, all the parents in the story had unconsciously neglected or ignored their child's needs due to societal pressures, mental health issues, or because of their attempt to try to live vicariously through their children to fulfill their own personal needs, all while neglecting their children and putting their children in harm's way. That was a huge theme. These parents, the moms, the dad, present but absent at the same time. And it is so disheartening. It was completely disheartening, almost to the point where you would be almost in tears because you're like, your child needs you to be paying attention to them and you're not. And their life is literally on the line, and you're not paying attention because you're in la la land. Like, when I tell you, I was upset. Okay. Anyway, it's a dynamic story. It's a breathtaking story. You can see how all of the characters are interconnected. And they may not even meet each other, but their lives and the decisions that are made affect other people around them. And I love the way that she interconnects them all together. If I were to rate this book, I would give it a 4.3 out of 5. Again, the writing was dynamic. It was amazing when it was dynamic and amazing. But when it was not, it was not. There was definitely some ebbs and flows with the writing. Some parts were patchy, not patchy in terms of the storytelling, but patchy like, okay, girl, speed this up. You're spending a lot of time on something that I don't really care about or is not really relevant to the story. Let's get to where you're trying to go. And once she got there, it was amazing. But then she would trail off onto something else and it would just be, okay, I'm pacing through. I don't want to give up. But that was my thought. That was my thought. I would give this book a 4.3 out of 5. Dynamic writing when it was dynamic and intense, but very it could get into a valley. She could get into a pocket and be talking about something for a very long time. And I just be like, sis, it didn't take 3 chapters to get here. You could have wrote this in a paragraph and we could move on. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Honest opinion, y'all. Honest opinion. Spell of Good Things by Ayobami Adebayo. You absolutely should get it. I would encourage anybody to read it. Be prepared for the slow creep though. But once you get there, you're like, oh my God, this is a great book. But it's gonna be a slow creep. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're gonna buy this book. Let me know if you've even read the book. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, okay? And don't forget The Other Black Girl, September 28th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Black Lituations, the book club. completely free. You don't have to pay for nothing. All you got to do is buy the book and hit the virtual link to join the conversation. My name is Belle. This is the Belle Perspective,